The phenomenon where one person stays behind to save others is more common than you think, but is it a heroic act or a hidden psychological issue? The concept of third man syndrome dates back to World War II, where it was first observed in the context of Allied bombing missions. The term itself is attributed to psychologists who studied the mental effects of survival on airmen who witnessed the deaths of their comrades. Notably, the story of Captain John D. Kramer's actions during World War II illustrates the phenomenon. Kramer, a B-29 bomber pilot, intentionally stayed behind to guide his crew to safety after their aircraft was severely damaged, ultimately sacrificing himself in the process, highlighting the complexities of human behavior in high-pressure situations. When we think of individuals who stay behind to save others, we often view them as heroes who selflessly put the needs of others before their own. However, research suggests that this phenomenon, known as third man syndrome, may be driven by a complex interplay of psychological factors. One key factor is the concept of altruism, where individuals put the well-being of others ahead of their own. But is this truly altruistic, or is it a coping mechanism to deal with the trauma and stress of war? A notable example is the story of Ivan Chizov, a Soviet soldier who risked his life to save 14 comrades during the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II. Chizov's actions were not driven by a desire for recognition or fame, but rather a deep-seated need to protect others. This need may have been rooted in his own feelings of guilt and responsibility for the safety of his comrades. By examining cases like Chizov's, researchers have found that third man syndrome is often tied to a range of psychological motivations, including survival guilt, rescue fantasy, and a desire for social recognition. These factors highlight the complexity of human behavior in extreme situations, and challenge the simplistic notion of heroism that often surrounds third man syndrome. The common perception of third man syndrome as a heroic act is understandable, but it often overlooks the complex psychological dynamics at play. In reality, the decision to stay behind is often driven by a mix of motivations, including a sense of duty, loyalty, and self-sacrifice. Take the case of Lieutenant Moe Berg, an American baseball player who volunteered to join the U.S. military during World War II. Berg was sent to Europe, where he worked behind enemy lines, eventually participating in the plot to assassinate German General Erwin Rommel. What's remarkable about Berg's story is not that he was a hero, but that he was driven by a desire to atone for his sense of guilt and inadequacy over not being able to serve in combat earlier in the war. This self-sacrificing behavior, rather than being heroic, was a coping mechanism for Berg's deep-seated psychological issues. This nuance challenges our perception of third man syndrome as a heroic act, instead revealing a more complex psychological reality that is worth exploring. In conclusion, third man syndrome is a complex psychological phenomenon that challenges the traditional notion of heroism. Through examining the historical records and accounts of individuals who have stayed behind to save others, it's clear that this behavior is not solely driven by a desire for glory or recognition. Rather, it's a deeply personal and often unconscious response to the intense emotional and psychological pressures of war. The example of the young German soldier who risked his life to tend to wounded comrades in Stalingrad serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost of war and the profound impact it has on individuals. This phenomenon offers a unique window into the human psyche, revealing the intricate interplay between altruism, self-sacrifice, and the desperate desire to survive. As we continue to grapple with the complexities of human behavior, third man syndrome serves as a potent reminder of the power of empathy and the enduring human spirit, which is, that even in the darkest depths of human conflict, there exists a profound capacity for selflessness and sacrifice.